Auntie Jo here with Auntie Jo Sews. So I am working on a loaded envelope. If you could see it here, I've completed 3 tags so far using some cottage cuts dies, some ephemera, vintage Santa, another die, can't remember the name at the top of my head, and then of course the tag dies themselves. Use some baker's twine that I got from Amazon. This paper is one of my all-time favorite papers, and that is out of this stack, the traditional holiday stack. Gosh, actually, I'm sorry, hang on. This is actually from the 12 Days of Christmas from Recollections. So I love the Christmas paper. This bow I made was from a die. The little silver ball is from, you know, my stash of goodies from the thrift store. So I thought about what else can I put in here besides the usual stuff. So I've got some gift tags so far. On the back I have just a little shaker card that I made. A repurposed Christmas card I made from asking folks if they had any Christmas cards laying around that they didn't want. So I think, of course, I'm going to do a wand and all that kind of stuff, but I think I'm going to do some small cards, and this is actually from the DCW Christmas stack, I believe. I'll link it at the bottom, but I think I'm going to make some smaller cards, and I'm going to make the envelopes for them. So I'm going to take this one, and probably this one, and make some small cards. I think we're too close for me to use the cutter to cut these out. I think it's going to end badly for me if I attempt that, because I have tried and I don't do super well when we're cutting stuff like this. And I had mentioned this before, like I heard someone referring to it, cutting this way, as fussy cutting, and I'd never heard that until I started watching YouTube videos. And to be honest, I didn't really even know there was a lot of people out there crafting like I was. Basically, I'm pretty new to YouTube. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know like you could click down and see comments and stuff until one of my kids told me, and then didn't know how old videos were, and I'm like, well, how do I see, you know, what people put up first? And my son's like, you're kidding, right? I'm like, no, I'm a noob to this. So basically, I didn't know you could see how, you know, old or how long people had videos up and that sort of stuff. So I'm really a YouTube novice at this point. I mean, I can watch Christmas Vacation on YouTube and that sort of stuff, but basically I'm not into it, but I am getting more into it the more that I do the crafting. So anyway, so I've cut out these 3 that I'm going to use for my cards, and I think what I'm going to do is probably mat them. I've got regular 65 weight cardstock, 8 by 11.5. It's actually what I used for my envelope base, and I got this from Michael's on sale for like $3.81 for a pack, so with a coupon, of course. So basically, I'm going to lay these out. This one, I think we're going to go, I think we're going to go this way. And I don't know if you know how, I don't like to assume anything, so I don't know if you know how to do cards or not. So how I do them is I see where I'm going to put the card. I think, you know what, that looks really good. I may not even use a second mat, but let's try it. No, I'm not digging the second mat. Okay, so what I do is I get my double-sided tape, and I don't use, if I could find it here. Where are we at? Double-sided tape. Come on now. There we go. Okay, so I don't use the ATG gun anymore because I was using it and all kinds of bad stuff was happening. Like I couldn't get, that's terrible. I couldn't get the thing to stay on. The tape was constantly coming off. It was just really not fun. So basically, so what I do is I tape the back of them like that. I line it up. I'm going to take 1 pieces off. Like I said, I don't use the ATG gun anymore because it's very, it just doesn't work for me. The tape comes off I have it like fall apart, and then it just didn't end well. And I thought maybe it was me, but then I started seeing other folks too, not using the gun. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to use this gun. So who knows? I don't want to sell it to anyone, because if it is a defect, then I've sold them a defective product, and I don't want to do that. So anyway, so here we go. I line it up to where I want it in the corner. And since I got the tape, I can be a little not as on top of it, because I can move it around. And I use my little thing here, and I can see I did it wrong. So I'm going to pull it back off a little bit. There. And it's lined up here, so we'll make sure it's nice and straight. And let's try it again, Joe. All right. So now I think we're good. And I don't do a whole lot of crazy measuring. I also like to leave a little end on my card so that they stand up easier. This one I may or may not, depends on how it looks. Anyway, so I kind of eyeball it to make sure I'm going to have even sides. And that looks pretty even to me. And I also always err on the side of, oh, hey, you know, I may need to cut more off. I always cut a little farther out first in case I have cut too much off. So then I've cut it, as you can see. I'm just going to be one of the cards that open like this. So I'm just going to score it this way, right about here. And see how that looks. Like I said, I usually leave a bottom. This one might be just way too much to leave a bottom. So what I'll do is I'll score it. Let's see, I'll score it here, right at the edge. Fold it over. So let's see. Yeah, I think it's too much. So I will cut off the extra, and then I'm gonna go do the other couple, and then I'll be back and we'll do envelopes. So I finished the cards. Here's the first one you saw me working on. Second one here. I decided not to double mat these. I think they look pretty cool without the double mat. So now we're gonna be doing the envelopes. And what I did was I figured out that I was pretty awful at making envelopes on my own, like really awful. So what I did was I went and got a Memory Maker's envelope punch at Joann's, and then I had a 40% off coupon, and then I had a 20% off coupon for Michael's at the Honored, so I ended up paying just like 12 bucks, so it was great. So this one, I don't know if you could see it, probably not, but my envelopes, I've measured my envelopes to see what they are, and the largest one is 3.5 by 5. So the measurement on this envelope maker is 3.5 by 5. So that means I know I have to make my sheet of paper 7.25 by 7.25, and I'm going to do my first cut at 3 1/8. So I'm just going to show you that super quick. So 7.25 for my sheet, and this sheet is just a regular it's from a regular 180 sheet Christmas stack. It's not it's DCWV. It's pretty good. Let's see if I did that wrong or not. We're about to find out. So, and we put it in our little Memory Maker. And if you've ever seen anybody do these, how you do it is you find your size of envelope. You then look at this and see if you want to have a notch, or envelope with a notch, envelope without a notch, and you measure your sheet of paper. So I know the envelope size I want is 3.5 by 5. I know my sheet of paper needs to be 7.25. And here's the thing with these. Your first cut is going to be at 3 1/8. And let me just make sure, because I don't want to be doing the wrong thing here. Yep, 3 1/8 and 3 1/8. You can see it's right there. And what you do is you take out the little, I probably should have done that first. Make sure we're still lined up. And what you do is you lean your knife, your bone folder, and just find the inside here, find the line, and you score it. And then you punch. Then you turn it to the left, you find your score line again, and you can see it's lined up. You do the same thing, and don't do it too hard, because I've made the mistake of cutting some of these envelopes by mistake, just cutting right through the paper. And just remember to keep turning and punch until you can't turn and punch anymore to a new spot. Sometimes it's hard to see, so you have to like kind of lift it up and look at the back, especially with the heavily patterned papers. Let's see here if I'm on the money or not. Oh, there we go. And then here, punch, And then got your envelope. And since I'm going to want it to go in this way, I'm going to fold it like this, and like that. And then I do my glue, and then I'll show you something that works really well I found, since I'm not a manufacturer, don't have like, you know, oh, are we stopped up here? And don't have a press. My dad's actually runs a large company out in Maryland and is a printer, been a printer his whole life, and he could make, you know, 95 million envelopes at that time it's taking me just to get this glue to work. So let's see here. I think we got plugged up overnight. I was crafting super duper late last night, and probably till like 2 in the morning. It was kind of crazy actually. All right, so we are just blocked here. Oh yeah, we're just really blocked. Okay, so I'm just going to use my finger until I can clear this out. The glue on here. Glue here. That back. Try not to make a mess. I always have a little towel as well, to wipe glue up and stuff. So there's my folder. And what I do, so that the person that I'm giving the envelope to will be able to close them themselves and not have to worry about it, is I just take a little strip of tape here. Let's see if that's long enough. Too long. And then just leave it on here for them so that when they go to use the card, they don't have to worry about finding a way to seal it. So there you go. So there's my envelope, and we'll just say, let's use this one. You pop it in. It fits great. Close it down. The little folder. And there's your envelope. So there we go. I'm going to finish these up. And here are my final envelopes. Here's the large envelope that I'm going to use to put in the loaded envelope. And then here are each of my cards in their little envelopes. I think they all turned out pretty well. I think they all look really cute. And each of these, remember, has the tape on it so that the person giving them away doesn't have to worry about finding, you know, somewhere to tape it or do the old, you know, gotta glue it shut. Now I have to find glue. So we're stuck in there. Come on now. There we go. I think I ended up getting a little bit of tape in there. Yeah. So there we go. So then I'm just gonna fold these guys up like that. Gonna put them in the folder or in the envelope I made, tuck that over, and then I may put it here. I don't know. I'm also gonna do a little pad for in here, so I don't know. So maybe I'll just pop it in here so it kind of peeks out like that. So that's my video for today. If you haven't subscribed, please take a moment and subscribe. Have a great day.